Welcome everyone to the UGC EPG Pathshala. Today we are going to talk about basin hydrology. Water is one of our most important natural resources. The lack of water may result to the absence of life on the earth. The amount of water available for us is limited in nature. Water resources on the earth are plenty, and however it is always in the right place of the right time or the right quality that is actually needed for consumption, and it has to go through several purification processes to make it fit for consumption. It is sometimes very difficult and expensive to obtain clean drinking water in many parts of the world, where strikingly the cost of a liter of drinking water is more expensive than any other commodity or any other requirement of our daily use. In addition to the scarcity of water, we face, however, major problem, which is the problem of the increasing pollution in the form of chemicals and waste being discarded carelessly for years are showing up in our water supplies today. Our major rivers are highly polluted and resulting in the aquatic life which is dying, and we are suffering from several waterborne diseases as a result. Highly intoxicated water obtained from our rivers is causing the death of many. Hydrology is the scientific study of the movement, distribution and quality of water on the earth's surface. The water cycle, the water resources and environment, watershed sustainability are the integrated part of the study of hydrology. A hydrologist is a student or a scientist who studies or practices very crucial tasks to perform, and he may be working within the field of environmental sciences or producing or working in the field of earth sciences. He may be working as a researcher in the field of physical geography or as a physical geographer. Using various analytical methods and scientific techniques, a hydrologist also collects and analyzes data to help solve water related problems and concerns which are serious in nature for today's world. Conservation, natural disasters and their management, and management of water and water bodies on the earth has become a very important task for today. Hydrology has gradually evolved as a science discipline. It has a very significant study, and head of the study arose can be the vast and the highly complex nature and network of the surface of the earth, and also to help us to resolve water related problems being faced by all living beings, be it humans or animals. Hydrologists play a crucial yet vital role in finding solutions to the water related problems. In the modern world, interesting and challenging career options are available for those who choose to study hydrology. Much of our water are consumed actually in hidden forms. Think about what you had for lunch. A piece of chapati, for example, requires water to grow wheat. For the same and process making the chapati requires water to knead the dough. When we consume the chapati, we eat some vegetables which again require water to grow and wash and cook the particular vegetable. This all Indian meal uses about 1,000 liters of water, enough to fill a small swimming pool. How about your clothes? To grow cotton for a pair of jeans takes about 400 gallons of water. A shirt requires about 400 gallons. How do you get to school or to a store? To produce the amount of finished steel in a car that has passed required about 3,200 gallons, 32,000 gallons of water. Similarly, the steel in a 30-pound bicycle requires 480 gallons. This shows that the industry must continue to strive to reduce water use through technology and manufacturing processes that use less water, and through the study of hydrology, which also is the science of the encompasses the occurrence, the distribution, the movement and the properties of water of the earth and their relationship with the environment within the phase of the hydrologic cycle. The water cycle or the hydrological cycle is a continuous process. Water is purified, evaporation and transportation from the earth's surface, including the oceans, to the atmosphere and back to the land and the oceans, and of the physical, chemical and biological processes involving water as it is travels to the various parts in the atmosphere over beneath the earth's surface through growing plants. The interest in those who study the hydrological cycle, there are many pathways. The water and the lakes in the continuous cycle for millions of years to the polar ice caps. It may know how rivers have finally got the water and soaked the soil. Water is the reservoirs or the aquifers in which water is stored. The cycle for water may be short or it may take millions of years. People to the water cycle, to their water is over temporarily from one part of the cycle to pumping it from the ground or drawing it from a river. Activities such as household activities, business activities, industrial activities, production of electric power after the use of water and featured as another part of the cycle, perhaps discharged downstream or allowed to soak inside the ground. Used water normally is lower in quality even after treatment, which often possesses a problem for downstream users. The hydrologist studies the fundamental transportation process to be able to describe the quantity and quality of water. It makes through the cycle evaporation, transportation, precipitation, stream flow, infiltration, groundwater flow and other components. The engineering hydrologist or water resource engineer is involved in the planning, analysis, design, construction and operation of projects for the construction for the contract management of water resources. Watershed resources problems are also the concern of a meteorologist, geologist, biogeologist, political scientist, specialists in applied mathematics and computer science and engineers in several fields. Hydrology subdivides into surface water hydrology, groundwater hydrology, hydrogeology, marine hydrology. Domains of hydrology include hydrometeorology, hydrogeology, which studies the management and quality where water plays the central part, oceanography and meteorology, which is not a part of the discipline because water is only one of the many important aspects without these fields. Hydrological research can inform environmental engineering policy and planning. Hydrological research is carried out for the hydrologists. Let us now look at what hydrologists do. Hydrologists apply scientific knowledge and mathematical principles to solve water related problems in society. Problems of quantity, quality and availability may be concerned with the finding water supplies for cities or irrigated farms, or controlling overflooding or spill erosion, or many work in environmental protection, preventing of the cleaning or the pollution of location sites for the safe disposal of hazardous waste. Personally trained in hydrology may have variety of job titles, scientists and engineers. Hydrologists may be involved in both investigation and office work in the field. They may collect basic data, oversee the depletion of water quality, look for many other kinds of water related issues, and use the recent techniques of remote sensing and look at the rugged terrain and the availability of the hydrological data in the rugged terrain, in the normal terrains, determine possible water supplies. Much of their work relies on computers for the organization and the summarization. Depending on the area, they survey the area and come to the results. The work of hydrologists is as varied as the uses of water and may range from planning multi-million-dollar interaction water projects to adhesive programming, and all estimate require water, and most of the settlements are found along the rivers, lakes or riversides. The duties of hydrologists include helping the cities by collecting and analyzing much water to available current from the forecast supplies. The city's projected future for the water needs is also studied by a hydrologist. The study for the future need of water by a particular city has to be dependent on the sustainable development of the water resources. The data then that is obtained is collected and compiled by the hydrologists working in various government agencies. Managing and maintaining the reservoirs can be quite a complex task because reservoirs are generally multi-purpose in nature. With the construction of reservoirs, there is an increase in the local water supplies. Hydrologists use topographies and aerial photographs, and very recently have started using drones to determine the shorelines of the reservoirs could be, and also to calculate the reservoir capacity and their storage capacity. This ensures that even when the reservoir is at the maximum capacity, no highway or railroads or homes could be flooded. Now let us look at groundwater. Groundwater is obtained by pumping from beneath the earth's surface, and it is often definitely cheaper, more convenient and less vulnerable to pollution. than the surface water. Therefore, it is very commonly used for public water supplies. Groundwater provides the largest source of usable water. Storage in the United States. In India, it is not very economical to obtain groundwater easily, as the process of installing a water pump is a tedious task and expensive. Underground water reservoirs contain far more water than the capacity of the surface reservoirs, and takes most water being used in India is obtained from the rivers. This water is purified in special plants and then supplied to the cities. In the rural parts of the country, the people still depend on wells, tube wells, and in many parts of the country, especially in the desert arid conditions, we can see a common sight of women carrying vessels and going to the nearby streams or rivers or wells to collect water. Hydrologists estimate the volume of water stored underground, but measuring water levels in local wells and by examining hydrological records from wells drilling to determine the extent, depth and thickness of water bearing sediments and rocks. Before the construction of wells or reservoir, a hydrologist performs a survey through research. Test wells are drilled and under the expert guidance of the hydrologist, and once the result of the test wells are satisfactory, the actual wells are drilled. The water supply from these wells is then utilized by entire communities and villages. They may run various geophysical tests on the completed well, keeping an accurate log of their observations and test results. Hydrologists determine the most official pumping rate by monitoring the extent that water levels drop in the pumped well and in the nearest neighbors. Pumping the well too fast could cause it to dry or could interfere with the neighboring wells. Over pumping along with the sea coast can cause salt water intrusion in the well, resulting in the water being obtained to be salty in taste. But an hydrologist can estimate the maximum and the optimum yield of the wells. Now we look at the branches of hydrology. The following are the branches of hydrology. Chemical hydrology, the study of the chemical characteristics of water, is known as chemical hydrology. Ecohydrology is the study of the interactions between the living organisms, be it plants or animals, and the hydrological cycle. Hydrogeology is the study of the presence of the movement of the groundwater. Hydroinformatics is the adaptation of information technology to hydrology and water resource applications. Hydrometeorology is the study of the transfer of water energy between land and water body surfaces and the lower atmosphere. Isotope hydrology is the study of the isotopic signatures of water. Surface hydrology is the study of the hydrologic processes that operate at or near the earth's surface. Now let us look at drainage. Drainage basin management covers water storage in the form of reservoirs and flood protection. Water quality includes the chemistry of water in rivers and lakes, both of pollutants and natural solutes. Hydrological processes within a river basin. Drainage basins of India are presented in the figure number 1, which very clearly shows the hydrological basins of India, and figure number 2 shows the drainage basins in India given along with the reference. Now we look at the stream. Each stream or the river has its own drainage basin. A larger river system is made up of all the smaller streams and their respective drainage basins. Small streams flow into larger streams, then rivers, and finally into the open bodies of water such as the oceans, bays or seas. The drainage basin of a larger river system is made up of many branches like networks which strikingly resemble like the branches of a tree. It starts at a high elevation with the first order streams, which are small streams that originate from springs. First order streams are where the system begins, and they do not have any other stream flowing into them. Next, there are the second order streams, which are streams that are created when two first order streams meet. These streams are slightly larger and move more downhill from first order streams where two second order streams meet. They create a third order stream. This process can continue until a large network of waterways is created. All of the branches of the system will eventually come together and they finally form a large waterway that will empty into the open body of water. The drainage basin for this entire river system would be very large and incorporate such drainage basins from individual waterways. Those systems can be very complex. We can think of it as a tree with many branches. The smaller twig-like branches lead to larger branches and finally all meet at the trunk of the tree. Definition of a drainage basin, also known as a watershed. A river basin or catchment area. A river basin or a drainage basin is an area of land drained by a river system, including the tributaries and the distributaries as a complete network. The edge of the drainage basin is known as the watershed. This can be compared to a sink or a basin which holds the water falling into it. It is widely accepted as the natural unit of water management worldwide. The total length of the river is 1400 square kilometers and it flows through the states of Maharashtra, Karnataka, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. This river also finally enters into the Bay of Bengal. The most important tributary of the Krishna are Ghatprabha and Malprabha, Tungabhadra, Musi, Bhima and Munneru. Figure number 9 shows the river basin very clearly. The Brahmaputra river basin has an area of 194413 square kilometers and the total area covered by this basin is the same. The total length of the Brahmaputra river is 2900 kilometers. The area that the river covers in India is only 916 kilometers. In the states of Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, the river originates from the Kailash ranges north of the Koyanga Sau. The principal tributaries of the river Brahmaputra include Lohit, Dibang, Subhanshri, Jibangrali, Dhansri, Manas, Disang, Kopli and Sankosh. Figure number 10 shows the Brahmaputra river basin. The next important river basin is the Mahanadi river basin. This river basin spreads over 5 highly populated states of the country. The total area covered by this basin is 141,589 square kilometers. The 5 states that this basin covers are Chhattisgarh, Odisha, Madhya Pradesh, Jharkhand and Maharashtra. Most of the areas covered by this basin lie in Chhattisgarh and Odisha. This river originates in the Farsia village of the district Dhamtari in the state of Chhattisgarh. It traverses a distance of 851 kilometers in the states of Chhattisgarh and Odisha and finally falls into the Bay of Bengal. The main tributaries are Shivnath, Hasdev, Mand, Ib, Tel and Jonk. Figure number 11 shows the river basin very clearly. Then we look at the basin of the east flowing rivers. This river basin has two river systems. The river system between the rivers Pennar and Kaveri, and also between the rivers Kaveri and Kanyakumari. The total area being covered by this drainage system is 100,139 square kilometers. It also includes many independent rivers such as the Kalderu, Swarnamukhi, Arni, Kotliaram, Kum, Adyar, Palar, Jingi, Vellur, Gundur, Viper and Thrambhaparni rivers. All these rivers end their journey into the Bay of Bengal. A look at figure number 12 will clearly show you this river basin. The Narmada river basin is the next and a very important river basin of India. The total area covered by this basin is 98796 square kilometer. This river system covers the states of Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Chhattisgarh and Maharashtra. This river originates from the Maikala range in Amarkantak in the Anuppur district of the state of Madhya Pradesh. The main distributaries of Narmada are Bhurner, Bonjar, Sher, Shakkar, Budi, Tawa, Kundi, Barna, Kolar, Orsang, Uri, Hatni and Man. Figure number 13 shows clearly the basin. Then we look at the basin of the east flowing rivers. These rivers flow between Mahanadi and Pennar. This region witnesses three river systems, one being between Mahanadi and Godavari and the second one being the river system between Krishna and Pennar river. The third being between Godavari and the Krishna rivers, which is a small yet significant one. This drainage is mainly a small stream named Palleru. The total area that is significantly covered by this basin is 86643 square kilometers. This basin also strikingly has many independent rivers which flow into the Bay of Bengal. These rivers are Rushkulya, Bhadua, Vamsarda, Nagavali, Sarda, Varaha, Iluru, Tandava, Gurudalamma, Musi, Paleru and Mannaru. The size of any basin depends on the amount of water being carried by each stream which forms the basin. There are several river basins which depend mainly on the rain water. Hence, they are almost dry during the year, and during the rainy season their size increases and there is a good amount of water flow in the streams. There are many other significant basins in the country, and their existence is crucial for the large population and settlements depending on them for their daily activities. Industries, agriculture, etc. all depend on them. India, having an agriculture based economy, is wholly dependent on the availability of water to perform agricultural activities, because the lack of water would mean no proper crop cultivation, which would result in the great loss to our economy. Now let us look at what surface runoff is. Surface runoff is described as the excess flow of water that takes place when storm water, melting water from glaciers or water from other sources flows over the earth's surface. This might occur when the soil is unable to absorb the full capacity of the sudden flow of water, because rain arrives more quickly than soil can absorb it, or also because the area which are concrete in nature, such as the pavements or the roof of houses, send the excess water which is runoff to the surrounding soft groundwater that cannot absorb all of the sudden extra water. Surface runoff is a major component of water cycle, and in figure number 15 you can see the surface runoff on a farmland. Note the soil being eroded due to runoff. Now let us look at evapotranspiration, which is also in the short form called ET, which is the total amount of evaporation and the transpiration from the floor and the flora and the fauna of the land and ocean surface to the atmosphere. Evaporation accounts to the movement of water to the source, such as the interception and water bodies. Transpiration accounts for the movement of water within a plant and the subsequent losing of water as vapor through the stomata in the leaves. Evapotranspiration is an important part of the water cycle. An element such as a tree that contributes to evapotranspiration can be called an evapotranspirator. There may be groundwater flowing in or out of the system. An alternative approach to formulate the balance is P plus ET is equal to 0, G equals to ds, where P is precipitation, ET is evaporation, and Q is the discharge of river, G is groundwater flow, D is the change in storage. Fluxes in are positive, fluxes out are negative. Figure number 17 explains this phenomena, and the diagram also shows the flow chart of evapotranspiration. Now, if we plant more and more trees, or we increase the vegetative cover of the earth, it will definitely increase the evaporation losses by 50 to 100%. Extensive outing of the tree, extensive softening of the trees increases runoff, stem flow through fall that has avoided interception or ripped off the canopy. Now, suggestive careers in hydrology. Students who plan to become hydrologists should be good in subjects like mathematics, statistics, geology, physics, computer sciences, chemistry and biology. In addition to sufficient background in other subjects which are economics, public finance, environmental law, government policy is needed to communicate with experts of these fields and to understand the implications of their work on hydrology. Communication clearly in written and speech is a basic requirement essential for any professional person. Hydrologists should be able to work well within people, not only as a part of a team with other scientists and engineers, but also in public relations, whether be it advertising, government leaders, informing the general public on water issues, because hydrology offers a variety of interesting and challenging career choices. I hope this module was informative enough. Thank you all. Have a good day.